So I was a journalism minor in college, and I have always had an interest in journalism, and wrote for the school newspaper, both at college and in high school. And it quickly became evident to me that you can never tell the whole truth about a story. It's always a partial truth because there just isn't space, to tell the whole thing. So that's just the reality of that. And so all reporting is reductive, is reducing down from the whole story down to basically a soundbite. And that's just the way it is. So, with this information war and these propaganda perspectives and whatnot, it is clear to me, having been there and experienced the frustration of trying to tell the whole story, that you just can't, so you take a piece of it and you try and tell that, and you try and be balanced. But that's an art. It really is. Now, there's the desire to do that, and then there's the desire to not do that, to tell a particular perspective, and that's, I suppose you could say, what propaganda actually is. But it's done by everybody all the time. And it's even done by you and me. Just in the simple ways that, you'll see a friend of yours and they'll say, "How are you doing?" And you'll say, "Oh, fine." You're not telling the whole story. It's fine. It's just how we get by in life, and honestly, every morning I spend an hour or more reading newspapers online, lately watching some YouTube videos on Ukraine and so forth, trying to get some different perspectives on it. So I've stumbled on a couple of YouTube sites that I found very interesting, and you might as well. So one of them is 1420. 1420, and it's actually a Russian YouTube page. I hope they stay able to keep broadcasting, if you will. It's mostly talking to young people on the street and asking them questions, but there's a broad range of folks they ask. Remembering that every YouTube video, every news outlet, if you will, has a perspective and has a bias, and so I believe that they do too, but maybe it's just because I'm in with them on their bias. But anyway, I think it's great to see real Russians talking about the current issues of the day, and they have varying perspectives. Anyway, I find it fascinating. It enlarges me, and it does so, as YouTube videos often do, in ways that you don't expect. It isn't just the topic, it's the context, it's the overall site where this is taking place. It all informs us, and YouTube does that really well. I think better than TikTok. TikTok is truly more of a soundbite. I don't know. It just doesn't appeal to me. YouTube is more in depth, but you have to be careful of your sources and what their perspectives are. So, that's just a given. So, the other one is Asian Boss, and it has kind of a similar perspective, similar style, but different populations that they're querying on their street reporting. I find it really interesting. We can no longer get RT and Sputnik, as far as I know, in the West. So we're being limited in our media exposure as well. I would like to take a look at some of their commentary and just evaluate for myself. I know they're really good. I have watched them in the past, and they are masters at their craft. I will say that. But just to see how the government is pitching things in their words rather than interpreted through experts on YouTube or reported on by CNN or ABC or BBC or Reuters, or they all have their place, and they can all be very good. But I would just like to determine for myself. But I can't do that anymore, So so I'll put some links down below, and see for yourself. It's kind of like John Campbell, his Campbell teaching page from the north of England, during the COVID epidemic, which is he still has a lot of great information on there, but he always lists his sources, so you can go and examine them yourself. Read those papers, determine for yourself what's true or what isn't. And so he has a definite perspective, but I like that way of doing things. So anyway, the Asian Boss and 1420 give a lot of context. They give a lot of... I used to actually like to watch Russian dash cam videos, the car crash videos, just because of all the context you got about the infrastructure and the public works, the way roads were maintained, the state of automobiles, just all of it. To see for myself, I got a feel for the place, and that's where I think YouTube really shines over written news, for instance. So anyway, those are. I've gotten a lot of pleasure out of looking at those YouTube sites. So perhaps you will too. So I'm just smoking an aged imported briar generic. This could be a Tom Howard. It's kind of subtle for a Tom Howard, honestly. Restrained. But it's just my kind of pipe. It's got a nice big bowl, tall enough that it smokes well. Nice big shank, saddle bit. Yes. And that sound seems good. So it's starting to rain now. I was hoping I could be out in the yard again doing a few things, but it is only water. Rain is only water. That's how we get by in the Pacific Northwest. We tell ourselves it's only water. It's not battery acid or something. So enjoy what you've got. I've got a friend who had a stroke like 3+ weeks ago, and she's really not getting any better, and she's significantly disabled, and it just makes you realize, how quick things can change. I think the Ukraine stuff has also made me realize that, these families being displaced, carrying only what they can carry, with the kids maybe carrying a little teddy bear or a puppy or a kitty, trying to save the family pets. They could be you or me, and it just breaks my heart. So, yeah, so enjoy what you've got, and make the best of it, make the most of it, treat it with respect. That's all we can do. So.